Video is part of the meme war series that I've been trying to kick off. The meme I want to kick off in particular is this idea that circumcision is worse than rape. Male circumcision, that is. I know that there are many who feel that a lot of men's issues are not going to gain any sort of traction. I also know, and I'm speaking out now to the activist community, I understand that there seems to be a lack of direction and maybe urgency amongst activists to kind of take circumcision head on. There's even for those that are against activism of any type for numerous reasons, or against certain types of activism. The great thing about memes is that it's a very lazy way to get ideas out there. It's a very quick and easy and dirty way to get some basic ideas out there and to have an impact and to really reframe these ideas and concepts. And it's a great way of raising awareness of the plight of men. This is not difficult to do. In particular, people are always talking about how, society doesn't care about the suffering of men. But, the great thing about the whole circumcision debate is that we're talking about babies here. So the empathy blinders are still there, but I don't think they're quite as strong. I really do think that circumcision is an issue that men can make headway in. At least the men that do care, and it will have a spillover effect, I believe, into other issues. It's just it's a glaring blind weak spot in I guess you could say the men's rights movement, MGTOW, men's awareness, whatever you want to say. It's a giant. It's the elephant in the room, so to speak. It really highlights a lot of the injustice and inequity that men face in our society, not just our society, but globally. And it's a winnable issue. And here's the thing. I don't understand why. I don't understand the apathy. I don't get the apathy, and not just from not just I'm talking about average Joe six-pack. I'm talking about even amongst activists. I just really think that there's a lack of maybe creativity and urgency and dynamism. That there's this idea that it might take 30 years, or it's or that we have to educate people. We have to kind of just spoon feed them these little morsels of information or wisdom, and I don't think it's the case. It's through the right kind of propaganda, and you will use the word propaganda. Through the right kind of slogans and propaganda, you can really agitate people and create discussion. That's what we need to be doing. We need to be creating discussion. Okay, it's not about necessarily changing one mind at a time. Okay, we just need to be creating fucking chaos, and we need to be relevant. I've said this so many times before. I mean, this applies just across the fucking board. I mean, whatever it is, whatever your ideology is, whatever politics you come from, it needs to be a relevant issue. You know, I always hear, why don't you care about starving people in China, or I don't know, what is it now, Angola, or whatever country, North Korea. I mean, we need to be making this an issue. This needs to be an issue, not just like some sort of lifestyle choice, okay? We need to make this relevant, and it's not that difficult to do. It's a winnable issue. It could be taken care of in short order, I think, with the right strategy. And something as simple. I mean, I've got tons of ideas and suggestions, but I'm working with this whole meme wars thing because it's very simple to do. Just putting together the right slogans and spamming. And you know, people can be creative and figure out how to spam on their, you know, they can take the idea and they can run with it. And, you know, they can add their own artistic license. I want people to create their own memes. And that's the most, you know, that's what we need to do in order to create a movement that's dynamic. You know, you need to create, it needs to take a life of its own. And then most importantly, we need to create our own frame of reference, from which to challenge these dominant narratives. I mean, there's a whole, you know, there's different dominant narratives out there. I mean, you've got the feminist narrative, you got the traditionalist narrative. I mean, the people have their own ideologies and political baggage. But what I like about this meme is that it will trigger a lot of people across the political spectrum. In particular, it will trigger feminists, obviously, because they really use this concept of rape as sort of a battering ram to assert their social dominance in everywhere, you know, in certain spaces, but just everywhere in society. It's a tool amongst many tools in their arsenal. And what we need to do is we need to be creative ourselves, and we need to be turning these ideas against themselves, okay? So we need to be, it's kind of like you're taking their energy and redirecting it. Think of it as like some sort of, I don't know, an Aikido move or some sort of martial arts move. We need to be efficient. It's a great tool we can apply to really put ourselves at the forefront. I mean, people are always online. You always hear a lot of these guys like to trigger people. I mean, this is a tactic used by all sorts of people with various ideologies. I mean, right, you know, right now it's like the right seems to be doing it, but it's not just the right. I mean, people are always. This is always a tactic that people have used. It's like it's basically shock and awe. You know, you want to shock and awe them, you know, I can't help but think of the video that Turd Flinging Monkey just did, called "Patriarchy is the Answer," and it. When I listen to this kind of stuff, I can't help but think that it's almost like he's working with the feminists. I mean, ideas like this, patriarchy is the answer. You're basically you're not even conceding to their frame of reference. You're actually advancing it. I mean, if videos like this are going to continue to be made, patriarchy is the answer. I mean, the situation for men is just going to get worse and worse and worse. If for the people that are interested in seeing some sort of change, I think we need to see some sort of dynamism and creativity and proactiveness. The concept of a meme war or just a meme is very subversive, and it can have an impact beyond what is immediately apparent. It can, these little short slogans really stick in people's minds. It's like a little soundbite, and that's the thing is, I'm just noticing that on a lot of YouTube videos, you have a lot of clickbaity type bullshit, but it's done the wrong fucking way. I mean, patriarchy is the answer is like a pithy, short to the point slogan, but it's the wrong fucking slogan. I mean, shit like that's actually gonna fucking hurt, man. I do not understand the logic behind it. I really like this idea that circumcision is worse than rape because it's really gonna start putting sand in the gears of civilization if we continue to throw out these memes which are gonna start really agitating people. I mean, the worst case scenario is you put out a meme like this or an idea like this, and people are it's gonna draw a lot of negative attention. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Okay? The point is to create just a discussion. We want to create controversy. We want to create controversy, but we want to maintain our fucking frame of reference. That's why I like this meme. And also, obviously, more important than the point is it's true. And I think that really is what adds so much power to it, is the fact that, it actually is worse than rape. I mean, there was this whole discussion in activist circles, I think maybe a few years ago, about, can you compare circumcision to rape? And, I don't even know if you can say it was resolved. But, I mean, clearly it was controversial, But I think, that's shown to me the fact that it can actually be very powerful. And the thing is, we really should be taking it to its next logical conclusion, which in fact is that it's worse than rape, and that it is uncomfortable for that fucking reason, and that we need to be saying this. We do, whatever we do, I don't care if you're a fucking MGTOW, fine, but if you think, let's say, that it's hopeless, fine, okay, but if you're gonna say, if you're gonna be clickbaity, if you're just gonna try to say shit to get attention, at the very least, make sure that it's the frame of reference is good and that it's true. What you're saying has some validity to it, and in this case, both applies to this idea that circumcision is worse than rape. It involves penetration. It involves violence and weapons. Circumcision is permanently damaging both physically and mentally. It's not just a single violent act. I mean, if you've seen what a circumcision looks like, I mean, I find it hard to believe that you can't compare it in terms of trauma to rape. I mean, you're amputating a part of another human being's body. I mean, I really, I kind of don't like to talk about it too much because it is kind of squeamish, but I mean, it's certainly a valid comparison. I mean, you always hear how rape victims have to live with the trauma for the rest of their life. Well, I mean, with the circumcision, you cannot run away from it. I mean, it's just every time you piss or shit, you're reminded of what was inflicted on you. I mean, and the reason why I think, in particular, that circumcision is worse than rape is because there's no recourse for the victims through the criminal justice system. It's sex discriminatory. At least, I wouldn't even want to say in the West, but even throughout the world, even in countries where there's FGM. I mean, MGM is male genital mutilation is far more prevalent than FGM by a huge order of magnitude. So I mean, even on a global scale, it's still sex discriminatory against men. Another thing is is the power differential. It's not. I think feminists like to talk about rape. It's like they like to. It's almost like this kind of perverse erotica. I don't know if that's it. I don't know if that's the right word, but they want to. It's like these. They like to drum up this idea of these dangerous, powerful men holding down women, blah blah blah. But when you think about it, like a newborn baby is infinitely more powerful than a female. I mean, to say that you can't compare it. I mean, the infant has. The infant is literally incapable of even fleeing or taking precautions. I mean, this is the ultimate violation of a defenseless, sentient life form. I mean, there's nothing they can do to avoid this. I mean, it's kind of a horrific concept. I mean, the idea that I think that even the idea for intact men, the idea that it could have been done to you, and it wouldn't. There's nothing you could have done. It's literally like a lottery. If it was you, it was you. You couldn't have. You can't take any precautions. It's not like a newborn infant can in any way pick or choose the country they're born in or who their parents are. So that power differential is worse when it comes to circumcision than rape. And also, I think what's particularly damaging about circumcision is that it's done with the consent of society. Men are put down for challenging circumcision. It's kind of like it's you are not only is there no recourse, but you are shamed for even saying that something wrong was done to you. So, I mean, to making the argument that circumcision is worse than rape, I do not think is a stretch. And I really think we need to get ideas like this out there. We cannot be afraid to offend. We must offend. We have to weaponize this issue politically. We have to have our own frame of reference. We have to have our own narrative, and we can't be arguing from the point of our opposition, because we're never going to get anywhere. That's going to be nothing more than this slow war of attrition. So I want to see what your comments are. Please comment. If I've left anything out, please let me know. That's it. I want to do more on it. I want to do more things with more videos dealing with the idea of memes that we can use. But this is something I kind of wanted to work on for a while now. Anyway, let me know down below. Thank you.